So, Mark, EDC was back in town. That meant exposed rear ends everywhere and high fees and cost of food. Did you see that $96 pizza?
Yeah, I mean, that's just robbery. It really is. And we've talked about wanting to go there for a couple years now. And this really just, I love pizza. So I'm not paying $100 for pizza. That's just, it's crazy. I'll just go watch people come back on the strip. You get to see all the outfits. You don't get the music, but, you get to eat affordable food on the strip, I guess.
Yeah, only $40 pizza. But did you see they don't charge you extra for the toppings? All the different varieties were the same price, so that was a good deal.
Yeah, you can get it spicy for $100, or you can get it plain for $100. I mean, it's great.
Mark, the Plaza's Carousel bar is now open. I guess it doesn't officially open until June 10th, I think, with the rest of the stuff, but it has now soft opened, and it's under that old driveway area with the sparkly lights, and some early reviews came in. A lot of people love it. It looks really nice. They have like booth seating, really cool bar, and then machines at the bar, which there's a little controversy about those because I guess the sparkly lights cause a little interference.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious that they wouldn't have figured out something to do because it just looks like it reflects and it's kind of a terrible gaming experience, which I don't play, video poker very much or anything, so it's not a big deal to me. But anybody that wants to go there, that's something to consider for sure. I don't know that it would be, you wouldn't think a strip front thing would have the best odds anyway, so it might not be a big thing other than throwing like 20 or 50 bucks in there or whatever and just playing through it while you get your drinks, which it's good to see that they do comp drinks. I think somebody said it starts off comp, and then you have to earn the light for the second drink. So similar to what you see at other properties.
Yeah, and they had originally announced no comp drinks there, so they backtracked on that. So kudos to them for that. They also have a secret menu that you can scan a QR code and get the secret menu. So make sure
it's not
to
secret
check that
anymore.
out.
No,
the secret's out. Yeah, I think that's how secret menus work, right? You create it and then you want everybody to know about it, so they come there for that. The non-smoking casino, Jonathan Jossel's shared a video that's coming along. That'll open probably June 10th along with everything else. It's not a huge space as we didn't expect. This is, I believe, in the old beer garden space out there. But it'll be a nice place to avoid smoke, I suppose, for people that want to do that. There's no bar in there, but I guess they'll have cocktail service from the Carousel bar. So you'll be able to get cocktail service like just at a normal casino, free drinks, everything else. But it's good to see that property getting that frontage, getting that love. And I think the Carousel bar was a great idea, and I think they pulled it off. There's misters out there as well, so it'll be nice in the hot summer. Or as nice as it can be, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought you always yell at me when I go outside in the summer. So even when you have misters, you say, no, you don't go out until it's dark.
I do? Okay, yeah.
Or at Resorts World, you're like, what are you doing outside right now, sitting out here by the bar? Let's go inside.
That's just because you made me come outside with you because it was so darn hot. Yeah, I was okay with you being out there, but me having to come out there, yeah, that was locals don't do that midday summer sun. So MGM is purchasing a very small strip of land that they currently rent, and they've rented for some period of time. It's that land sitting basically between Bellagio and Cosmo, and again, they've rented this land. There's not much there other than storage, and could this be that they're going to extend the bridge like from Bellagio into Cosmo, try to connect it so you don't have to go to the street and cross it? I can't think of any other reason that they would buy the land now. $54 million, I believe. It's quite a bit of money, and it doesn't seem like they can really build anything there with as skinny as this piece of property is.
Well, why did somebody own it in the first place? Like, it's just so weird that they're like, nah, I'm not going to give this little bit up. Maybe they were holding out until they got this high price tag and, initial offers were much lower or like half or something like that would be my guess. But they definitely need to connect the two. So hopefully that's what this is leading to. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. I don't even know why they were renting it. Maybe just so nobody would put something there that they would find annoying. It's the only thing that really makes sense.
Yeah, it was shared by 500 on Twitter, and he has a podcast. He says he's going to talk all about the history of that on his next podcast, so check that out. I will be, I don't think it's come out yet, but he will talk all about it. There's some interesting replies to his tweet as well, with some jokes about the size and shape of the land, so check that out. But yeah, it's another little
innuendo.
Exactly. So the F1 2023 video game came out, and now we have a render basically of what the race course will look like. Now, we kind of knew what it's going to look like, but basically you can now be the driver, go along the course, see all the sights. They did a really good job of accurately recreating the Las Vegas landscape. I think they changed the names of the casinos, obviously, for licensing reasons, but you get to see everything correctly. And I get a feeling, Mark, that you don't like it. You don't think that this is cool.
Well, I mean, it's a perspective that nobody else is going to have besides the drivers, but I don't think it like shows off Vegas really well from that perspective. It's a lot of, all the stands blocking everything. So you're not seeing fountains. You're not seeing a lot of the hotel. I mean, you do see the world's most expensive movie theater up close and personal, which is pretty cool. And it does look cool in the game. But the rest of it, it's like just buildings and blocked. It could be anywhere. You get a little bit of the tops of the buildings with the lights and everything. But, and I know that the zoom out, the drone level view of the race on TV will look really cool. But I feel like anybody that's there or watching it is just not really going to get any of that atmosphere unless you have like a rooftop area that you're looking down on everything.
And I guess the anticlimactic part of this is you can drive all these roads right now, so it's not like you're getting a perspective that you couldn't get just driving. And, speaking of that, the construction still is going on all over the Strip as far as getting the road ready, and people are getting upset. It's really been ugly. I was there a few weeks ago, and half the Strip was closed down around the Harrah's area, and it just keeps moving along, but it's causing so many headaches.
We need tunnels.
As we've said before, though, it's only going to be this year apparently, and then in future years they only have to do very short amount of construction because they're putting a base layer down there. But this is a huge investment that the community, I feel, is making for this race, sacrificing on traffic, on all kinds of headaches, and I think it'll be a success. Like you said, the TV presentation of it will make it look spectacular, and even though there might not be the greatest sight lines with all the stands and everything, I'm sure the cameras on TV will make it look wonderful.
We'll see. I mean, I think it will look great, though. At night, from TV, the movie theater will look amazing. Bellagio, you'll still see the fountains from up high, so I think it will go off really well on TV.
And I bet the airports will be busy with private jets. So we talked a few shows earlier this year about how Strat, they sort of lied about the fact that they were going to implement paid parking, and then, the gates went up. We all knew it was like the worst kept secret, and then eventually they did it, and we said it was sort of short.
That would be that cocktail menu at the Carousel bar.
Okay, that's the secret, okay.
That's the worst kept secret. The secret menu at the cocktail bar.
All right, the second worst kept secret in Vegas. And then, we talked about when they implemented it, how this was a little short-sighted. They get a lot of local traffic, and, how this was going to hurt them in that way. And it seems like maybe that's the case. Vital Vegas was reporting, said it was confirmed but not yet announced that they are going to give free parking to locals. I think this is a good move. I was recently down there and just didn't go down there to film because I didn't want to pay for parking, and I didn't have time to go park somewhere else and walk over there. And I think a lot of people who want to just try the restaurants, go up to the tower, they need to draw those people in. And, just like everything else in Vegas, stick it to the tourists and give the locals a break.
Ouch. No, I mean, the question is, how bad will the system be? Because, we talked about how complicated it was to get into the parking structure there. So I love that they're giving locals free. They should have done it from the beginning, but at least the pressure from everybody changed their mind there. But what is that system going to be like for the locals to get in there? Is it still going to be so aggravating that they don't even want to mess with it, even if it is free? Or do you have a thing that you just quickly swipe and the gate opens for you? Be interesting to see how they implement it, but then you really need to knock that out of the park. Otherwise, it could be a big problem, even if it is free.
Yeah, hopefully they implement a system like they have at Caesars or MGM where you just stick your license in. But we know they're using that weird QR code system, so we'll see how they implement it. But it's good to see them backtracking a little bit on this and, just realizing that they need that local audience. Over at the Forum Shops, Planet Hollywood restaurant is closed, and this has been there for 29 years. Now, I think it moved in 2012 to its current location, which was a little bit closer to the Strip, but more removed from like the main part of the mall and the part of the casino. And they kind of cited that in saying that that's one of the reasons that they're closing. They just don't have the great enough location. But 29 years that restaurant has been at that property, and it was just always like a visual icon. I think it was their second Planet Hollywood location after the one in New York, if I'm correct. A piece of history dying for sure.
Yeah, I've been in there once. I can't remember if it was in the old location or the new one. I feel like I had to go upstairs, and it was in a back corner, kind of tucked away somewhere. The bartender gave us a whole bunch of free drinks when she messed up making drinks for people. So I had a great experience there. But, I always thought it was kind of funny that you had Planet Hollywood, the casino, and they didn't have the restaurant there. So I would have loved to see it move in there. I think that would have been kind of cool. And I know the restaurant was way before the casino, but it just always seemed kind of funny to me that they're in different places. Like back in the day, Hard Rock was right there with the casino. So, but I kind of feel like that's kind of where we're at with these type of themed restaurants that were big in the 80s and 90s. Hard Rock, Planet Hollywood, stuff like that, where they had like a kitschy feel to it, just aren't popular anymore. People don't care. Like they want a higher end experience. They don't care about movie memorabilia from 1992 anymore. You can look at it online, I guess. I don't know. It's just funny to see.
The same owner of the Planet Hollywood restaurant at Forum Shops owns the Cafe Hollywood at Planet Hollywood, and it does have like some memorabilia there. I wonder if maybe we could see that turn into a Planet Hollywood restaurant. Wouldn't that make sense to have that at the Planet Hollywood Resort? Again, it's the same owner, but who knows if that will happen. I don't think Planet Hollywood's brightest days are ahead of it as a brand. Like you said, the whole themed entertainment restaurant thing doesn't seem as vibrant as it was like in the 90s and 2000s. All right, so Celine is coming back in 2024, or at least that's the rumor. Now, Johnny Katz, who is the entertainment reporter for the Review Journal, and I won't try to pronounce his last name because I'll say it wrong, but he knows his stuff. He really is a good guy to follow on Twitter, and he's all around town. Says that the word is she'll be back in 2024 at Resorts World, and that hopefully means her health is doing better, and we finally will see that residency that she was supposed to launch along with the other ones that did that in the opening year. It's been almost a couple of years since she had to postpone that. So good to hear something, and hopefully Celine will be back on the Strip before long.
Yeah, and it just we knew about this, but it's still kind of interesting to see how well Resorts World's done with these big names and getting them in, and that's kind of been like their feather in the cap of, hey, we have the best live performances, we have the biggest names at our theater, where Caesars and MGM used to have those somewhat, and now it's just Resorts World. Like that's the go-to for a marquee type show of that caliber, of singing, all that stuff. I hope she comes back. That'd be great. That's like the mainstay of Vegas. Wayne Newton and Celine, right?
There you go. I mean, she really was the OG of the residency, right? Bringing that to the Coliseum. That was the first, at least that I can remember, big residency that was marketed in that way. It was a true residency. Went on for years and years and years and years. And she's definitely a big draw and well loved in the community. And hopefully, and I think she lives in Las Vegas as well. So I'm glad to see that apparently she's going to be back. So we'll keep an eye on that. And now we have to move on to the A's. Talk about the A's once again. No, I said on the last show we talked about this that I thought the deal was going to get done with state legislators because that's just the way Las Vegas and Nevada works. Yeah.
Bags.
It seemed the writing was on the wall, and of course, that's what happened. The governor came out and he released this statement. This agreement follows months of negotiations between the state, the county, and the A's, and I believe it gives us a tremendous opportunity to continue building on the professional sports infrastructure of Southern Nevada. Las Vegas is clearly a sports town, and Major League Baseball should be part of it. As part of this announcement, they sort of touted that this is the largest private investment in MLB history, mainly because this stadium is going to be so expensive that the owner of the A's is putting in over $1 billion of his own money. They also said the private-public split was, the best among many recent ballparks. So they were really spinning the information here. But the state's going to put in some money. The county is going to put in some money. They're going to get a property tax exemption. And this is going to get them up to about $380 million altogether when you add in all of that stuff, the bonds, the stadium district, and the property tax exemption. So they're not getting everything they wanted, but they're getting a lot of it.
Yeah, they're getting most of the way there. And it still blows my mind that it's this expensive. I mean, I know, well, the land isn't really a part of that price tag, right? Wasn't that gifted to them? It's this expensive, and it's one of the smaller stadiums in MLB. So I just don't know, what are you adding in there? Are the chairs going to massage you? I don't know where the money's going. But hey, they got the deal done. I didn't think they'd do it. I thought that this would get bumped until later in the year. So they definitely dropped off some big bags of money. I'm just a rumor that, but I don't
Allegedly.
know. Allegedly, there we go, covering our butts.
So the interesting thing in their spin was they kind of went over some of the more recent MLB stadiums. So the Texas Rangers Stadium cost $1.2 billion and got $700 million in public financing. Atlanta Braves Stadium. Yeah, Atlanta Braves, which we talked about before, it cost $672 million, and they got $300 million in public financing. Miami's stadium, $634 million price tag, 80% or $507 million was paid for with public money. The Minnesota Twins only paid $345 million for their stadium in 2010. $230 million of that was public money, and the Yankees. The Yankee Stadium cost $2.3 billion to build. Like,
It's horrible too.
why? Yeah, it's like, why is it so much more expensive? But
It's huge.
1.2
It's
billion was
huge.
paid for with public funds. So, I guess if you look at it that way, it's one thing. But also, Las Vegas has a lot to offer. None of those were teams relocating to a new city. They were existing cities, existing fan bases. This is the worst team in Major League Baseball as far as record and what they spend on their players. So, at this point, I'm going to change
attendance.
yeah. So at this point, I'm going to change my tune to just being hopeful that this will be a success in Las Vegas instead of being bitter about the money. We always knew there was going to be some public financing. We fought back. I mean, he wanted $500 million to start, and some of those bonds will get paid back. So it isn't quite everything that he originally wanted. So I guess a little victory, but in the end, it's going to happen.
Yeah, what do they say? If nobody's happy, it was a good deal, and I feel like that's kind of where it's at. Like, everybody kind of met in the middle. So overall, I don't think it's the worst, investment. They're not getting taken like some other teams, but just the cost of the stadium still blows my mind. Compared to some of the other smaller markets, which Vegas will be a smaller market, stadium will be smaller seats wise. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But when you spend $2 billion building the Sphere, 2.5 when we're done, that's my guess. That's just the way Vegas rolls. So hopefully it looks beautiful. It's a cool place to go see concerts because the baseball probably suck.
There you go. It's going to be another good concert venue. Yeah, it's crazy, but we're losing Tropicana, and this is going to happen. Maybe now that they've made this tentative deal, and lawmakers were very specific in saying that now that they've agreed to the details of this, they're going to go through this bill with a fine-tooth comb and hear feedback from the public. I don't think that's going to make any difference at all. But, this has not been passed yet, so I guess it still has to go through that. So if people want to fight against it, they can, contact the representatives. Yeah, it looks like it's going to happen. And now maybe we can get a rendering of the stadium. I'm shocked through all of this that they couldn't pay an artist to render this thing.
I love how they're like, we've been talking about this months, but the A's just switched sites 2 weeks ago, and we don't even know what it's going to look like. But we've been working on it forever. I know they've been working on the numbers. I get it, but I still think it's funny.
Yeah, but you usually see like a drawing or something to kind of show you what it might look like. And it's funny because we had, what was a year and a half ago, somebody mocked up when the Tropicana site was rumored what a stadium could look like on the Tropicana site. And it was this like over the top, had these giant baseball. I forget who did that, but somebody was able to throw that together on Twitter, in a few minutes. Why can't the A's spend a little bit of money and show the community what they're going to get? I think the answer is they don't have any idea, right? They don't have a stadium design,
Yeah. Okay. So what's your guess? Who's going to throw out the money in Vegas to get it named after them? What do you think? What company or casino or whatever is going to name the stadium?
I don't know, because the casinos haven't really wanted to be behind that, right? MGM has part ownership in T-Mobile Arena, didn't want to put their name on that, wanted to sell the rights. Allegiant Airlines came in with the football stadium. So I don't know. I think it'll be a non-casino,
Southwest baseball.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of big companies that have headquarters in Southern Nevada, but I'm not sure. But I'm sure it'll be a big company, and I don't think it'll be gaming related for obvious reasons. I think the gaming companies want to stay away from the sports and the optics of all of that. But Circus Stadium would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that really does have a rhyme to it. It works with what they named everything else, so that'd be kind of funny. Get it done, Derek.
All right, and that's going to do it. Let us know what you guys think. Sorry we missed the show earlier this week. We were both traveling, so it became very difficult to do that. I did promise a construction update. I have that about 80% finished, so that should go out hopefully this weekend on Sunday, and we should be back to our regular schedule going forward. I'm in Macau, so I have a lot to talk about with Macau in upcoming shows. We have a lot of other stuff talking about Wynn from my stay there, and a lot of other news. So stay tuned to the channel, but let us know in the comments everything you think about what we talked about today. Are you excited the A's ballpark's finally happening? Are you sad that Planet Hollywood restaurant's going away? The Carousel bar, would you gamble with those sparkling lights over the machines? Hit us up in the comments, and we'll see you in just a few days with a new show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Make sure you subscribe. We just hit 40K. Thank you, everybody that watches and subscribes.